Our kids are not getting enough hugs in the day, and maybe yours aren't too, and maybe it's something that you've never thought about. So we just want to talk about this a little bit and maybe bring your awareness to how many hugs and how much physical affection are you showing your children. Yes?
Sounds good.
So again, I'm Yana, and this is
Naaman.
We're married.
No rings, but we're married.
We're married with Everyday Life, and we hope that you guys find this interesting. And let's pop into this and chat a little more about hugging your children.
We're 90s kids, as you can tell by the backwards hat. And it seems like over the last couple decades, and probably a lot longer than our lifetimes, families have become more and more disconnected. You know, they spend so much time apart and so much time in their own little bubbles, especially now that everyone has electronics and everyone has social media and everyone has all these different distractions in their life. And now families just spend so much time spread out and so apart. And in the industry that I'm in currently, which is real estate, I hear so many stories of families being apart. So many families where they're like, I wasn't close to him, my brother, my sister, whatever. Yeah, we don't talk anymore, you know. And there's so many stories like that. And this concept of hugging and being closer and actually like physically touching each other like this is like, it's kind of profound, right?
Profound in a weird way,
Yeah.
because like it's such a basic thing that you would do to your child. I mean, we all, like, you have a newborn, you have a baby, a toddler, you can't help but like want to squeeze and hug and hold the child. But somehow, as they get older, we kind of mentally decide like, well, he probably doesn't need that many hugs, or like, I don't need to hold her that much anymore. And like slowly, all the hugs, they taper off. And then all of a sudden, your whole family's kind of hug starved.
Yeah. And this may be very strange if you're in a different culture, because it's a very cultural thing too.
Okay.
You know, different cultures, like here in the U.S., we're so not a touchy culture. You know, except for certain weird people who will come up and say, "I'm a hugger," like the first time you meet them.
Oh, that makes me feel uncomfortable, honestly.
But other cultures, like they're like we've had friends from other cultures before, and they're kissing each other on the cheek and they're hugging each other all the time, and they're just so close, like physically close when they're talking to you. And here we're like, you know, like 6 feet apart.
6 feet apart.
Whatever it is we're doing now.
Yeah. The way that we were raised, like our parents took care of us. Obviously, we're here, we're alive, we're educated, but the relationship was never really that huggy. There wasn't like constant love coming from your parents hugging you, telling you how great you are, how amazing you are. And that definitely trickled down to how we parent.
Yeah, and that too is like not specific to our parents, but just like everyone I know is like that for the most part, right? You know, it's nothing against our parents. Like literally everyone I know, they don't have parents who are like, you know, fawning over them like that.
I don't know. I think maybe some of my aunts or uncles were a little bit different. But that's how we grew up. And I'm realizing that the way that we are raising our children really isn't that great, as far as, man, we need to do so much work. But like, our kids need more hugs. Yeah. Our oldest is 13, our youngest is 4. And so, I don't know, somehow you assume the 13-year-old just doesn't need the hugs.
He definitely needs the most hugs, though.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
it's interesting because it seems like as your child grows, they kind of physically, they kind of start to distance themselves a little bit because they're becoming more and more of their own person. But the desire and like the need for hugs doesn't go away.
Yeah. Plus, as parents, that's really the stage at which, I mean, all the stages of childhood are important, but as the kid hits those years is really when you want to stay in the closest contact.
Yeah.
Because that's the time when often they're off going, you know, off on this weird path. Sometimes weird.
So here's the deal with hugs. Hugs it's more than just showing like, you're my child, I'm gonna give you a hug.
Yeah.
But like, there's an actual like chemical secretion. Secretion is such a weird word.
Yeah.
But when you hug a person, it literally produces serotonin in their body, and like the longer you hug, the better the benefits are.
Serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine
are
all released when you hug. I mean, it's not like just like a quick 1 second. You know, that's not gonna do anything. But I think the number was somewhere around like 6+
like
seconds.
At least 6 seconds, and then 20 seconds would be considered extended hugging, and that has even more benefits. And with extended hugging, it really produces like a lot of serotonin that boosts your overall happiness and just enjoyment and feeling good about, you know, your life. And the more hugs you have, like during the day, you feel included, you feel seen, you feel mattered. You feel like you matter. Like it makes you feel better about yourself and your position in the family unit.
Yeah, and it also reduces stress.
Yes.
It decreases the stress hormone,
Yeah.
which is
It reduces.
cortisol.
Am I? Which
No,
is.
I was asking
You're the
you.
stress.
You're supposed to say the
Oh,
word.
I'm sorry. I
Anyway,
can't read mine.
It reduces cortisol, which is it's like who doesn't need less stress
Yeah.
right now? I mean,
Well,
cost of living, right?
And it can reduce your anger, and it can reduce your feelings of like isolation
Frustration.
or frustration. Yeah. And so obviously in this season of raising, I mean, from 4 to 13, we have enough ages that they get along sometimes, and sometimes they squabble. And so like, I think we're really missing the hug connection here. So we're going to challenge ourselves, and we invite you to challenge yourselves and your families and come along on this to give your children more hugs. And so that quote from Virginia Satir, which she was she was a family therapist, and she said you need 4 hugs a day to survive, 8 hugs a day to thrive, and 12 hugs a day for growth.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
Thank you, Neiman. And so I actually created a hug chart, and we printed it out, and it's on our fridge. And I wanted to just kind of test how we do without actually trying to make ourselves, without actually trying to remind ourselves of hugging. Like, how do we just do it on a normal basis? If I hug my kid, I'll just go and mark off that, you know, I hugged a kid and which kid I hugged. And the first day, you guys, the first day was 0.
I think I hugged the oldest.
I
least.
think, okay, our youngest always gives us hugs when he wakes up.
Yeah.
And maybe all our kids give us a hug when we wake up, but like, other than that, we have like 0 physical connection. The second day, I actively gave one of my kids one hug. So
You're
like,
doing well. And keep in mind that we have a very different lifestyle because our kids are homeschooled. So for a lot of you, this might be much more challenging because your kids are up and off to school early in the morning. If they're hitting the bus, they're probably off really early.
Or some of you are like, what is wrong with you people? Why are you not hugging
That
your
is very
children?
possible as well. Some of you are probably like, why would I need a chart to hug my kids?
Yeah, you know, and if that's you, I mean, good
Yeah,
job.
I'm not going to applaud because that's, you know.
Good job, but it's a struggle for us to remember because once again, we didn't grow up being hugged. So like, you have to actively rewrite your parenting story, basically, the way that you.
I have a
the
feeling that
values
there's
that you
people
believe.
from certain cultures and backgrounds who are like, this is a really foreign
This
thing.
is an insight into the secret life of American families. We don't hug.
Hugging is like the most awkward thing in the world. It's almost more awkward than kissing people. Like it's just.
I'm sorry. Who do you walk around and?
I don't know. It's just strange to me. There are definitely people. You probably have like what 1 in 100 people maybe who are like, I'm a hugger, and they'll tell you that like first.
According to Neiman statistics.
1 in 100 Americans hugs people. That's the stat. No, it's not really.
So, if we wind it back, we want to bring our family closer together. We want to make our children feel more seen and loved and just like physically encouraged. Because I think, okay, if we forward into their future lives, I imagine that you would have, it's kind of like a hugging bank almost, right? Like as an adult or as a young adult, you know, like, every single time your parents hugged you, every single time they gave you attention, that like it kind of builds you up, your confidence.
Yeah, the
makes you
stats
feel
are there
better.
for that.
Yeah.
It helps build up kids' confidence. And I don't know whether it's different between boys and girls, but that'd be interesting to know.
It would be interesting to know, but from the parenting books that I've been reading, that the therapists were saying that they've noticed that boys can actually be a lot more emotional than girls are, simply because they are kind of forced into this this idea of what a boy is supposed to be, you know, like you don't show your emotions, you don't cry, and all this other junk. And so like they are always having such a hard time processing things because they're not allowed to show it outwardly,
Yeah.
you know, or like it's not expected or socially accepted. And so like boys might actually need hugs more than girls, because like say if our daughter is upset or whatever, she will come up and ask for a hug. The boys will probably get mad or run away or
they'll
hide
throw
in the room
something.
or chuck something. But that probably means that they need more
Physical
initiative
connection.
initiative on our part
Yeah.
to be like, you need a hug,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a hug, and then we'll deal.
The challenge for parents really is that you need to be constantly vigilant and not get emotional yourselves in a negative way.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy for a kid to be like, oh, I'm so pissed off and I've punched my brother and I'm throwing things around the house. And it's really easy for you to not react rationally and instead, you know, throw something back or whatever. Not necessarily that
Well,
level,
it's more
but
like yell or get really angry
you
versus
can get really frustrated with your kids constantly squabbling or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Not that ours constantly squabble.
no, they're perfect. Yeah, okay, so we are going to, you know what, like, I was thinking, let's just do a week. I want to do just a week just to see what would 1 week of 12 hugs a day do. And so I have a chart. I created a chart. It's on our fridge. And since we're a 2-parent family, we're going to divide the hugging.
Divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer. So 6 hugs a day per parent, per
And
kid.
keep in mind that we are, well, I go to work, but we are with our
I
kids.
don't go to work, I just chill.
She stays in close proximity to our kids is what I mean. And we are with them. One of the two of us is with them for 12, 13, 14 hours a day,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
So we like, this shouldn't be that
It
challenging.
shouldn't be that challenge.
Like if you are a more...
I mean, it has to be a cultural thing for us,
I think
you know?
it is. If you are a more conventional family in regard to your school and work layout, then to do 12 hugs a day might be a lot in the morning and a lot in the evening.
Oh yeah, that's
you know,
true.
unless you want your teachers hugging them. Just kidding.
Oh no, don't do that.
That's really creepy.
No. Maybe some teachers are nice, but no.
No, that's creepy.
It's a parent's responsibility to build up your child, to make
Yeah.
them feel loved and seen and supported. So we're gonna do a week. We're gonna do a week of hugging. We're going to make ourselves hug. I don't know why it's so hard.
It's not hard. You just forget because there's so many other things going on in your life. You know, you're like, I'm gonna do the dishes. I'm gonna make some food. I'm gonna make some money. The cost of living is like, and you're like, oh crap, gotta go make some more money. Gotta make some more food. Gotta clean more dishes. Gotta go out and do whatever outside. Move the trampoline so the lawnmower guys can come and all that kind of thing. So there's just so much stuff going on, especially moving the trampoline. Takes a lot of work, and it's really easy to forget. You know, you're like,
We did this once.
we hugged once.
No. We challenged ourselves once before, like several months ago, and I feel really bad. But like several months ago, we actually did. I put together a hug chart and just like wrote it up, and I made sure to hug them. And I did it for like 2 or 3 days, and they were getting good hugs, and they liked it because they were asking me like, you didn't give me a hug yet. Where's my hug? And then I think they were calmer. They were calmer in the interactions towards each other, because I wonder if hugging your children more, it helps them to reduce the idea of sibling rivalry. Because like you might, as a kid, you might think like, my parents like this kid more than me, and you know. But if you're actually like, I hug you, I hug you, I hug you, then you're kind of like spreading the love. So maybe each kid feels like, Mom, my parents gave me enough hugs today, I'm okay, you know?
Yeah. And
I
don't
don't know.
forget, they are also, I have no idea how much it reduces this stress hormone, but if there's less stress, they should squabble less.
They should squabble less.
I mean, that's the theory.
Yeah.
So,
So we're gonna do a week of hugging. We encourage you, try it out. Like, have you ever thought about this? Comment down below. It's a good question. Have you ever considered, like, do you hug your children enough?
are you a touchy-feely fan?
Yeah, are you a touchy-feely family? Does it come naturally to you? Or do you think maybe you guys should probably hug a little more? And you know what though, not only is it good for kids, but it's really good for us, for a relationship. Because sometimes I get overwhelmed with being with the kids for 13 to 14 hours a day, you know? And so when Naaman comes home, I'm just like, just hold me. I just need a hug. Just hold me.
Yeah.
Help me to like.
Sometimes I need that
That's
from
true.
customers.
From work. Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I got to do this again tomorrow. Hold me.
Yeah. Actually, that is something that they suggest for parents, for couples, for when your spouse that is out of the house comes into the house, to give them like 20 seconds of a hug, and that it actually, because our bodies are physically touching, that it actually like adjusts his emotional state to the state of the house. It kind of like, I don't know how it works, but it works on a physiological level. It like resets you to the mood of the home and takes you out of the mood of work.
A hard reset.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good, it does a hard reset on his brain.
Chuck could probably use more often.
So yes, so join us. Comment down below what you think, and we'll let you guys know. So we're going to just talk about the results and see what happens in a week. Okay, so thanks so much for watching, guys. Share this with someone who might need it. Maybe they also maybe they have some struggling kids at home, and maybe the solution is simply more physical affection. It could be really helpful. Let's be more huggy, right? This world needs more hugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And less drugs.
Yes.
Hugs, not drugs.
Okay, thanks guys so much. We'll see you in a week.